almost pitching all the way over. And we should now be able to dive right down here. Now I'm pitching forward, throttling forward as well, and also pitching the craft downwards. So that's ground coming up quite quickly there. Pitch back. Now we're safe. We skim this thing very close to the ground. So again, that's not the thrust, that's just me literally telling it to decrease altitude. And I'm not decreasing the thrust there, it's just the thing is getting heavier as the amount of lift in the balloon decreases. What I intend to do next is actually have that so the balloon will drop down to the base as well if you drop it below a certain power. I'll demonstrate that again now by just lifting it back up again. So as the lift increases, the weight decreases, and because the throttle is still applied, then it will move along the ground. We also have reverse now as well, which is nothing really to shout about. It's literally just the same control backwards. I've not scaled the throttle properly yet, just because I'm not 100% certain how I want to do that. So it takes quite a while to change direction. Also, there's quite a lot of momentum working on this because it's all physics based. So it won't stop on a dime. You do need to actually give it a bit of time. But you see there, you can do sort of a reverse turn with it. Increase the reverse speed a little bit. Another thing I'm going to change once I've messed around with the throttle a bit more, it has linear and angular damping set quite high at the moment. What I did have before that I quite liked is the speed that you're going at would affect the pitch of the craft. If you travel in one direction very quickly, that end of the balloon would raise up as if it was hitting wind resistance. So I will be putting that back in quite soon as well. Just to show the balance, I'll actually land it on the top of that mountain over there. If we can get it, come on. You see those little preview things slowing down there? That's just the direction of thrust changing. A little bit high up. Okay, that's quite strange. We have a turn input going on here that should not be happening. If we can get it to do that again. That might be something to do with these physics constraints, actually. I still need to look at those a little more. Get a bit of speed up. Doesn't seem to be happening now. Do a full turn. Oh. That's quite strange. I'll have to investigate that and try and find out what happened. But for now, let's set it down on the mountain, and I'll show you that it will actually balance on its own, more or less, depending on whereabouts you land the thing. Quite high up, actually, so this might take a while. Just while this is descending, I'll talk about where this is going to go next. Oh, there we have it again. So that seems to be something to do with changing the buoyancy, I think. If it'll do it again. Now let's keep holding down the ascent key and see if we do the same thing. I don't think we will. Also, don't worry too much about these cables wobbling around. These aren't actually going to be used in the final thing. They're just a placeholder to show roughly what the physics is doing. We got no tipping over so far. Try descending again. Back to what I was saying, this will be going into VR with physics-based controls. So you'll be using the grip controls in VR to actually grab a wheel here to set your turn. Also levers for your pitch forwards and backwards, and some valves to set your lift, essentially changing the mixture of gas in this balloon here. Are we actually descending? We should be. Further to that, there's going to be cannons mounted on the front of this thing, so you're going to be able to attack AI enemies, which are essentially just going to be little hot air balloons. And also some bases with turrets that you'll need to take out so you can land safely and steal fuel. There we go, it tipped over again. Let's have a look why it's done that. Here it is. I guess we'll need to see what lift force is actually doing when it does that. I'm guessing, just from the amount of time I was holding the thing, that it does that once lift reaches 0, perhaps? I'm going to have to get some fairly serious height before we can find out. Freaks out a bit now. I am, of course, going to be putting in indicators for height and speed as well. They're going to be fairly easy. You can get the physics forward vector, which is essentially your speed. You just put that in the HUD. For the altitude, you could just say get the upwards vector, but what's probably better is to put a line trace coming down from either end of the balloon and literally just measure it. And then you can take that number, plug it into the heads-up display, and that'll just tell you your altitudes. Which, why I've not done that yet. That's the easy part. We should be high enough now. So let's see what happens when we take this all the way down to 0. Oh, it's starting now. So can we get that back? It's about 150,000. Right, that's interesting. So if it does it at roughly the same number as about 150,000. Even though we don't know why it's doing it. Oh, I think I know why. No, I thought maybe because the balloon might be heavier than the gondola, but they're both set to 100 kilograms, so that can't be it. 230 odd it's going up. And it always seems to roll over to the right. Possible those cables, actually one of them may be slightly heavier, or sorry, I should say slightly further off center than the others, which could be having an effect. So it's about 200. Nope, it's doing it there as well. That's quite severe. I'll tell you what. WRI up. Let's start him off quite high up. Got a bit of room to play around. So we're just gently descending now. What are we on? 419,000. Yeah, it's tipping again. What it could be. Now the force acting on the balloon doesn't act on the gondola. It's tipping even more, look. It could also be the physics constraint that's doing that. Yeah, and then the more you drop it, worse it gets. Okay, so that still needs fixing. Fair enough. Okay. But essentially, other than that, this thing functions as I want it to. I need to put limits on the pitch up and down because you're about to see it do something it shouldn't do again. You shouldn't really be able to go vertical in an airship, either forward or backward. So that'll need to be limited. That thing's still going. So yeah, really that's just an update on how this is working at the moment. So what needs to be done now is to find out exactly what is making it tip over, which I suspect might actually be the cables. I think that's probably what's doing it. Find out what's making it tip when you descend. Doing it now? I think it is slightly, yeah. Yeah, it is very much so. Okay. Right, so that's my next thing to figure out, which I'm going to do now. In fact, before I end the video, let me just see what happens if we take the cables out. We've already got this backed up, so it's not a problem. Like I say, the cables, they're not really performing any function other than just to show that the physics is working, so they're not really necessary. Oops. And now we're off balance straight away. It does seem to be slowly balancing itself though. Give it a bit more lift. Okay, that looks fairly level now. I think that's just the initial lift. I can change that with the dampening settings. And nothing bad going on so far. A nice fast descent going on. Oh no, no, there it goes. What happens if we put this in negative then?